In this name of the game, timeliness is very important.
You drive past them every day, but you may not know what they are. Automated license plate readers. The powerful technology helps law enforcement, but what about privacy? We're taking a look at both sides tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Matt Breen.
And I'm Jessica Bowman. KTV's Katie Koppel has been researching the cameras known as flock cameras. She was able to speak with area law enforcement agencies who are using the cameras each and every day.
So, Katie, last night at 6, we learned what these cameras are and what they can do. I understand you've got examples of how local law enforcement have used these recently.
Yeah, that's right, Matt. Automated license plate readers help local law enforcement authorities solve a variety of crimes, from custodial kidnappings to homicides. And that is just since they were first brought to the tri-state area only 2 years ago.
We recently had a case that was very heinous. It was a child abduction case. And as you said, it didn't quite meet the level of Amber Alert, which is a very high level for us. You see very few actual Amber Alerts. Because of the ALPR cameras, we were able to get out an alert on the, it was a parental abduction, this particular case. We were able to get an alert out on the vehicle, get the vehicle safely stopped, and get the children removed from the dangerous person before anything bad could happen. So that was a tremendous example of how these can benefit us.
ALPRs, or automated license plate readers, are cameras that take captures of license plates and enter the information into a computer system. That information is then used by law enforcement agencies to track and locate wanted individuals. The Sioux City Police Department has had their ALPRs in operation for a year and has seen the benefit.
In this name of the game, timeliness is very important. Efficiency is obviously very important, but being able to get an alert that's immediately actionable is very important to us.
The use of ALPRs has saved his officers hours of time, allowing them to focus on community safety.
We had a particular case where we were looking for a suspect. We went to check several of the local locations where they may be, but we were able to verify with the LPR from a camera that's out of our jurisdiction that in fact they were in another state.
Now the information captured by these cameras can be shared with other agencies through partnerships, which is what the Sioux City and South Sioux City police departments have.
We had a robbery in town. It was actually an attempted homicide, and that person was located via flock in Sioux City and was arrested.
Utilizing the information gathered from automated license plate readers can also aid in public safety.
So if we have a stolen motor vehicle, instead of an officer getting behind that vehicle, running the plate and triggering perhaps a dangerous vehicle pursuit, oftentimes we're finding these stolen vehicles parked. And then we're able to just take the vehicle off the street at that point before we endanger the public with somebody running or doing anything dangerous there. So that's one way that they're helping.
This technology, Captain Bertrand says, is greatly beneficial to the department and helps make the community safer for all.
The technology is powerful and it does help us do our jobs, but it's not a further intrusion. We are limited by Fourth Amendment, and people want dangerous criminals off the street. People want to feel safe. People want their crimes solved.
Yeah, great information. And so, Katie, I know one big question is the data, the numbers. Is there a way departments like South Sioux City can actually track the data and the numbers through the system?
Yeah, there is. It's a dashboard called a transparency portal, and you can actually find it right now in this story at KTIV.com. But here it is for you right now. Now, this lists the policies in place for ALPR use for the South Sioux City Police Department. I want to point out the prohibited uses on the left side of your screen right now. They do not use their cameras for things like immigration enforcement, traffic enforcement, or personal use, just to name a few. And like we discussed with the Sioux City Police Department last night, all searches done by officers are documented and tracked.
Okay, so I see the word hot list on there. What exactly does that phrase really mean?
Yeah, it's a great question. A hot list are the alerts that are placed on license plates of cars connected to crimes or wanted individuals. For example, if authorities are searching for someone they believe committed a murder and they know what the license plate of that person is in the car that they drive, they can add that information into the portal or the hot list, which will then alert authorities if that vehicle drives by an ALPR camera. Any hit from that hot list, of course, must be verified by an official law enforcement official official and then also investigated further.
Yeah, and so this isn't the only information that you have, but I want to note it is important to really just note here that not everyone agrees with law enforcement agencies. So let's talk more about that. Let's talk about the law enforcement agencies using the flock cameras and not everyone really agreeing with it.
Yeah, that's right. The ACLU of Iowa released a report in December arguing against the use of automated license plate readers here in the state of Iowa. They say these cameras raise concerns of privacy, violate civil rights, and are an unlawful form of government surveillance.
Okay.
ALPRs have been found to have an error rate of about 10%. So that means about 1 in 10 license plates recorded have an error. And that does mean that you can be targeted by police as being on a hot list in error, for example. And that has happened in the past. That can be very dangerous.
Now, the ACLU report states that Iowa law enforcement agencies should reconsider its use of these ALPR cameras.
The first thing to really, for local law enforcement to ask themselves is whether they should be using these cameras at all, especially if they have not been using them in a way that safeguards against these risks. There are some reasons why, maybe some fundamental lack of understanding about the technology, the way it works, how they're sharing data, all of that.
Yeah, and technology playing a role in everyday public safety life. So you're not done with this report yet, Katie. You got a lot of information.
I did. There's only so much I could put on the air the last 2 nights. I have an extended version with even more data, even more information about these ALPRs or flock cameras online right now. You can find it over at KTIV.com.
All right, well, important information. Thank you for being here and sharing it with us tonight.